Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're exploring something that's really taking off. Um, X audio spaces, you know, over on the platform formerly known as Twitter, now called X. It's just incredible to see how social media is always changing and coming up with these new ways to connect with people online.
It really is. And what I find so fascinating about audio spaces is that they really tap into something very human, that desire to connect with others through conversation. It's like you're opening a window into a room full of people who are all eager to share their thoughts and ideas. And you get to hear all of it in real time.
That's a great way to put it. A window.
Yeah.
It's almost like Magus, like we're all mind melding together, you know, sort of like a live podcast. But anybody can jump in and be a part of it. But for our listeners who maybe haven't experienced an X audio space yet, can you just break it down for us? What exactly are they and what makes them so different from other social media features?
Sure. So in the simplest terms, an X audio space is basically a live audio chat room where people can come together and discuss just about anything. I mean, it can be as casual as chatting about current events or as focused as a deep dive on a very specific topic like we're doing. But what really sets them apart is that real-time interaction. You have live questions, debates, you can even do polls. It creates this really electric atmosphere that you just don't get with pre-recorded content.
Yeah, it's that live energy that makes it so different. So instead of just passively consuming content, you're actively participating in the conversation. So imagine, instead of just a small group, it's like this virtual conference room buzzing with conversation. But you have the potential to reach millions of people.
That's exactly right. And think about what that means for building communities, especially around brands. The potential is huge.
Huge. And I think what's so exciting about this, too, is how the algorithm actually helps connect people with spaces they'll be interested in.
And the algorithm is key here. It takes your interests, the hashtags you follow, and then suggests spaces that align with those things.
So it's like a matchmaking service, but for conversations, which is a lot better than those annoying banner ads we see all over the internet.
I agree. Those can be so intrusive. But with audio spaces, the sponsorship feels more organic, more authentic.
Because you're not interrupting someone's browsing experience.
Yeah.
With a flashy ad, you're participating in a conversation.
Exactly. And that allows brands to connect with potential customers in a way that feels much more human.
It sounds like a dream come true for marketers.
Yeah.
Who are constantly trying to stand out from all the noise. But I'm curious, how does brand go beyond just sponsoring a space and actually build a thriving community around it?
Well, that's where strategy comes into play. It's not just about showing up. It's about consistency, engagement, and providing real value to the audience. Think of it this way. A brand sponsors a recurring space. Maybe it's weekly, and it's dedicated to a specific topic that's relevant to their industry. They bring in expert guests. They answer questions from the audience. They even offer exclusive insights or sneak peeks into what they're working on. This consistent presence helps them establish themselves as thought leaders in their field, and that's how you start to cultivate a loyal following.
So it's about becoming a destination, a place where people know they can go to get valuable information and connect with others who share their interests. I can see how this could be incredibly powerful, especially for brands looking to build a truly dedicated fan base.
It's about more than just acquiring customers. It's about building a community of advocates, people who believe in what you're doing and want to be a part of it.
That's a really powerful idea. But I need some proof. Can you give us some real-world examples of brands that are successfully using X audio spaces to build these thriving communities?
Well, absolutely. There are some amazing case studies out there. For example, there's this software company that sponsors a weekly space called Tech Talks for emerging startups.
Okay, like it.
They bring in industry experts to discuss the latest trends. They even offer free trials of their product during the session.
Oh, that's smart.
And the results have been impressive. They've seen a significant bump in signups and overall brand awareness.
That's amazing. It sounds like they found a really great formula for reaching their target audience. But what about brands that aren't in the tech industry? Can this strategy work across different sectors?
Definitely. Another great example is a fitness brand that partners with a very popular wellness influencer.
I love those wellness influencers.
Right. And they host a space together called Wellness Wednesdays.
Getchy.
They offer guided meditations, fitness tips, and they even do live Q&A sessions with experts.
Wow.
And this has led to a big increase in community engagement on X. And they've also seen more traffic to their website.
That's fantastic. So it's not just about promoting a product. It's about creating a space where people can connect, learn, and grow together.
Exactly.
It seems like the key is to find a way to align the brand's message with the interests of the audience in a way that feels authentic and engaging.
You nailed it. That's where the strategic planning comes in. Brands need to ask themselves, what are our goals for this space? Are we looking to raise awareness, drive engagement, or generate leads? Once they've defined their objectives, then they can tailor their approach accordingly.
So if a brand wants to increase awareness, what would that look like?
Well, in that case, they might partner with an influencer who has a large following in their target market. The focus would be on introducing the brand to a wider audience and highlighting its key values. They could do that through engaging storytelling, interactive Q&A sessions, or maybe even some fun contests and giveaways within the space.
I like it. But what if their goal is to boost engagement, to get people interacting with the brand? How would that approach differ?
Then they might want to focus on creating a space that encourages active participation. Think live polls, Q&A sessions, or maybe even challenges and contests that get people talking and sharing their experiences. The key is to create a fun and interactive environment where people feel comfortable expressing themselves.
Sounds like a party. Okay, what about lead generation? How can brands use these spaces to turn listeners into customers?
Well, that's where targeted offers and calls to action come into play, for example. They could offer exclusive discounts to space participants or give them early access to a new product launch. The key is to provide a clear incentive for people to take the next step and engage with the brand on a deeper level.
Okay, so it sounds like a brand really needs to understand its goals and its audience before jumping into X audio spaces. But what about choosing the right space to sponsor? Any tips for navigating that process?
Yes, definitely. Thorough research is essential. Brands should look for spaces that align with their target audience and their brand values. They need to analyze the host's reach, engagement metrics, and audience demographics to make sure it's a good fit. It's not about jumping into any space that seems popular. It's about finding the right community where their message will resonate.
It's like finding the perfect dance partner. You need to make sure you're in sync and that your styles complement each other.
I love that analogy. It's so true. And once they've found a suitable match, building a strong partnership with the host is crucial. They should collaborate on creating an agenda or a loose script that seamlessly integrates the brand's message into the conversation. It's about finding that sweet spot where the brand's objectives align with the host's expertise and the audience's interests.
It's all about balance and creating a win-win situation for everyone, even with the perfect partnership. It can't just be a constant sales pitch, right?
You're absolutely right. Authenticity is paramount. While showcasing their products or services is important, brands need to prioritize providing genuine value to the listeners. This could involve sharing exclusive insights, behind-the-scenes stories, actionable tips, or even offering giveaways and early access to exclusive content.
So it's about being a valuable contributor to the conversation, not just a disruptive advertiser.
Exactly.
But what about active participation during the session? Is it enough to just have a brand representative listening in?
No, active engagement is essential. The brand representative should actively participate in the chat, answer questions, respond to comments, and really foster a sense of community. It shows that they're genuinely invested in the conversation and value the audience's input. It's about building relationships, not just broadcasting messages.
It sounds like a lot of work. But the potential rewards seem immense. But what happens when the space is over? Does the engagement end there?
Absolutely not. That's where the magic of repurposing comes in. Brands can record the session and turn it into a podcast episode, a blog post, or bite-sized social media snippets, sharing key takeaways, audience feedback, and even engagement metrics as testimonials for future sponsorships. It allows them to extend the life of the content and reach a wider audience.
It's like squeezing every drop of value out of the experience. It seems like X audio spaces offer a really unique opportunity for brands to connect with their audience on a much deeper level than traditional marketing channels allow. But do you think this model can work for any type of community, even those that are more niche or specialized?
I believe it can. Take, for instance, the world of AI art communities. Imagine artists from around the globe connecting in a space, sharing their work, discussing techniques, and even collaborating on live projects.
That's such a cool idea. AI art is such an exciting field, and it's evolving so rapidly. To have a platform where artists can connect, learn from each other, and inspire each other is truly remarkable, and I bet the potential for brands in that space is enormous.
It really is. Brands that offer tools or platforms for AI art creation could sponsor spaces to showcase their products, host workshops, and even scout for talented artists to collaborate with. It's a win-win. Artists gain exposure and support, and brands connect with a passionate and engaged audience.
It's like a digital renaissance, fostering creativity and innovation in this whole new realm of art. And it really highlights how X audio spaces can be a powerful tool for any community, no matter how niche or specialized it might be.
I completely agree. It's a level playing field where anyone with a passion for a topic can connect with like-minded individuals, share their expertise, and build meaningful relationships. And for brands, it's an unprecedented opportunity to tap into those niche communities and cultivate authentic connections that go beyond traditional marketing.
Well said. So as we start to wrap up this deep dive into X audio spaces, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with? What's the nugget of wisdom they can carry with them as they explore this new and exciting frontier of online interaction?
I think the key takeaway is this. X audio spaces represent a paradigm shift in how we connect, engage, and build communities online. It's a move away from the transactional nature of traditional social media and toward a more human-centered approach that prioritizes authentic conversations, shared experiences, and genuine connections.
It's about building bridges, not just broadcasting messages.
Exactly.
And it's about recognizing the power of human connection, even in the digital world.
Absolutely. And for those who are ready to dive in and explore this new world, I encourage them to think strategically, define your goals, identify your target audience, find the right spaces to engage with, and above all, be authentic, be engaging, and be a valuable contributor to the conversation.
Beautifully said. It's like planting a seed in fertile ground. With the right care and attention, it can grow into something truly remarkable. And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the one hosting the next big X audio space, connecting with a global audience and sharing their unique passion with the world.
I love that. I'm excited to see how this platform continues to evolve and what incredible things will emerge from these connections. It's a testament to the power of human conversation and our innate desire to connect with others who share our interests.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to explore the possibilities of X audio spaces. It's a world full of potential, just waiting to be discovered.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more on X audio spaces.
So we were talking about AI art communities. Imagine a space where artists from all over the world could come together, share their work, talk about techniques, even collaborate on projects, all in real time.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. It's like a global art jam session.
Exactly.
And for brands, I mean, the potential there is huge.
No, it's massive. Think about it. Companies that make software for AI art, they could sponsor these spaces, showcase their products, maybe even host workshops, and they could find incredible talent to collaborate with.
Like a digital art fair.
In a way. But it's more than that. It's a community where everyone benefits.
Artists get exposure and support.
And brands connect with a passionate audience.
It's a perfect match.
And it shows how X audio spaces can be powerful for any community, no matter how niche.
Absolutely. It's all about finding your tribe.
And connecting with people who share your passion.
I love that. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today, and I'm so excited about the possibilities of X audio spaces.
Me too. It's such a dynamic platform.
And I think it has the potential to change the way we connect online.
I completely agree.
So for our listeners who are eager to explore this new world, what advice would you give them?
I would say, don't be afraid to jump in. Start by listening to some spaces, see what's out there, find communities that resonate with you.
And if you're a brand,
think about how you can use this platform to build genuine connections with your audience.
Great advice.
Remember, it's all about authenticity, engagement, and providing value.
And don't forget to have fun. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. It's been an incredible conversation.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us.
Right.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep the conversation going.
You know, it's interesting we talk about all this, and I think sometimes we forget the simple things.
So like what?
Like just the power of listening.
Oh, yeah.
Just taking the time to really hear what other people are saying.
Especially in a world that's so full of noise.
Exactly. We're bombarded with information all the time, but how often do we actually stop and listen?
It's a lost art.
And X audio spaces, they provide a platform for that kind of deep listening.
You're right. It's not just about talking. It's about connecting.
And understanding.
And that's something I think we could all use a little more of.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive It's been an incredible conversation.
It really has.
I've learned so much.
Me too.